Okay. So when you have a deep crevices in the rock like this, just try to make them that way, so later when we start creating the UVs for the wall polymesh, you can very easily hide the UV seams using the shapes on the rock itself. For example, you can very easily put a UV seam here following this crevice, and it won't be so visible as if, for example, if you put it here in the middle of the flat surface on the rock. That will help hide the UV seam, because from some angles and under certain lighting it could be very visible and distracting in game. Okay, so here maybe we can try something more interesting. For example, cut more from this side. Yeah, okay. Now this part here may be too extruded for this rock, so we're gonna trim it a little bit. Yeah, I think something like this it's better. Okay, we're getting some nice details on this side. Yeah, it's a good idea to save often while using the clip curve brush, because especially if you're cutting a large parts of the mesh, that takes up a lot of system memory, so it could fill pretty much your scratch disk drive and you can run out of memory, and yeah, that is not okay, so just save often. Now this part, I think, yeah, I think it could be nice if we separated these two parts of the rock, so we're just gonna make some quick cuts here. Yeah, something like that. Okay. So as you can see, we still have some pretty straightforward lines, but after a few minutes we're gonna break them with some other brushes. So don't worry, it will look more organic. But yeah, even if at some parts you leave something like this, it should still look okay, because a lot of rocks preserve these straight shapes, sometimes combined with really chipped areas. And it's just a matter of balance between the two of them to create a nice looking effect. Yeah, I'm gonna undo some steps because yeah, that way it looked better. Now this part here is too flat, not very interesting, so we can change that by just adding some volume with the clay brush. Let's switch again to trim smooth border, and now we're gonna get some nice looking shape here. So yes, when you look the rock from this angle, you can see that we could still have some areas that are too square shape like. Let me just yeah, for example, here we can cut a little bit like this. So yeah, as you can see right now for the sculpting process, I'm just using the smooth border with on some instances the clip curve brush for cutting some parts out, and very rarely just the clay brush for adding some volume. Okay, so instead of Z-Sub, if I switch to Z-Add, as you can see here, I can get some interesting shapes instead of cutting inside the mesh. I can create some interesting looking outward shapes on the rock. But yeah, I think it works better in the Z-Sub mode, because I use this Z-Add mode only if I cut too much part of the geometry, and for example I don't have any more undo states. Okay, so now we can change a bit the top part of the rock. Maybe first add a little bit of volume so it's not so clean cut. Yeah, I'll decrease at this point a little bit again the intensity of the smooth border brush, and just continue modifying the top part of the mesh. Now, as you can see, I'm trying to rough up a bit these straight edges on the top part. For that, for now, I'll continue using this brush, but later I'll switch to Trim Dynamic. Okay, so all it's left now is just to add again some interesting vertical and horizontal details like this one, and we'll start smoothing out the rough parts of the prop and address some of the visual issues like this, for example.